I've been suddenly told by a business partner of 10 years that they're ending our dealings, and I made sure to get my revenge. I want to report what happened. My company was delivering parts as usual. Our company has been in business for 40 years, and we've had dealings with this client for a decade. However, the company's president changed, and a young second generation took over as president. This new president had looked down on our company as outdated, even before taking office. But the previous president was a great person, and we had built a good relationship, so I thought there were no issues. Recently, when I went to greet the new president, he suddenly told me,
"We've secured a contract with a major company and found cheaper parts, so we're ending our dealings with bottom-tier companies."
At first, I was shocked and thought I had misheard, but the new president smirked and said,
"Who are you, anyway? I don't have any acquaintances in bottom-tier companies."
And then, he deliberately said what I had been handling, with a touch of sarcasm. Moreover, he even said,
"A company as old and useless as yours has served its purpose. You should be thankful we've been dealing with you until now."
I was genuinely taken aback by the sudden mention of being no longer needed. However, the second-generation president is still young, and I thought he might find it troublesome if he actually ended our contract, so I said, "Indeed, our company is old, but the parts we supply to your company can't be made anywhere else." But the new president just laughed loudly and mocked.
As if that's true. If your shabby factory can make them, anyone can.
So, I insisted again, no, our factory is the only place that can make them, but the second-generation president got angry and said,
"Stop it. You're the worst representative, trying to keep us on board by repeating lies. I'm going to file a complaint against your company."
I was at a loss for words. Given his attitude, I had no idea what he might say to our company. And in the end, no matter what I said, the second-generation president just laughed and mocked me, not listening to a word, so I thought this was hopeless. So, I just said, "Understood," and went back. Luckily, there was a company that wanted to use our parts, so our company didn't suffer any significant damage. Therefore, to the second-generation president who had no interest in continuing the deal, I said, "We will reset all our dealings with your company. We will not deliver any more parts," and ended the contract. However, right after that, the second-generation president turned pale and rushed to our factory. Let me explain the sequence of events. When I ended the deal, the second-generation president found something funny about my saying, "We will reset all our dealings." He burst out laughing.
"Reset, huh? I like that. I've been wanting to pretend like my shameful history of contracting with a rundown factory like yours never happened, so being reset is just perfect. Thanks for trying to hold us back, but even if you begged, I wouldn't contract with you again."
He said that while shooing me away with his hand. Shameful history, you say? I was even more perplexed by the second-generation president's response. His outright disdainful look and laughter towards me and my company genuinely infuriated me, but since he was the president, I endured it and left without saying anything more when we ended the deal. It was a few days after we terminated the contract that the second-generation president rushed into our factory. He was in a panic and turned pale. As soon as he found me, he yelled with a face turning red,
"Because you contracted with our rival company, our company is on the verge of going under."
"Rival company?" I asked, puzzled.
"Right after you ended the deal with us, you signed a new contract, didn't you? That company, Company A, is our biggest rival. This morning, Company A announced that they've improved the performance of their competing products using your company's parts.
The second-generation president's anger exploded. But, we've already concluded our transactions with your company, and our own company's survival is at stake. We don't have the luxury to extend courtesies to a company that abruptly terminated our dealings. That's why we contracted with Company A, who had been interested in doing business with us for some time, I explained. Instead of listening, the second-generation president became furious and yelled,
"You traitor! How dare you contract with our rival company? I won't forgive this."
He seemed quite cornered by the situation, shouting at me with a voice that echoed throughout the factory. With the second-generation president being so angry, I asked, "Didn't your company find cheaper parts elsewhere? That's why you ended the contract with us, right?" Then, he was even more enraged. He said,
"The parts from that company were of such poor quality, they were unusable."
I was surprised too, but that seems to be the case.
"If you had undercut that company's prices, I wouldn't be in this mess."
It's impossible to lower our prices any further without making it unsustainable for us to produce our products.
"Shut up. I was still buying your products. That's what customers do. You're supposed to fulfill the customer's wishes with your products."
I do appreciate your business, but
"Then you should have always met my expectations by making your products' prices lower, so I wouldn't be embarrassed."
the company the second-generation president contracted with instead of ours was apparently a new company that boasted of having the latest machinery.
"I thought with the latest machinery, they could make exactly the same parts as yours. But what they delivered were substandard goods that couldn't be used in our products."
Substandard goods.
"Yeah. I was deceived by that company."
It might be an exaggeration to say you were deceived.
"You, working at a small company, wouldn't understand the vast number of customers waiting for our products."
Well, that's
"What's with that reaction? Deal with this loss right now, damn it." "And they said they had the latest machinery."
Perhaps those parts weren't substandard.
Eh? What are you talking about? Such poorly made parts are obviously substandard."
Please calm down. Yelling like that won't change anything.
"Are you arguing with me?"
The second-generation president, who always looked down on me, didn't want to hear my opinion and snapped at me right away.
"How would you know anything without having seen the actual thing? Don't make baseless comments."
The second-generation president exploded in anger, but I calmly countered. "True, I haven't seen the actual thing, but there is one point where our technology differs from that company's."
"Huh? What are you talking about?"
The second-generation president asked back suspiciously. "That company is a new one, right?"
"Yeah, that's right. Different from your old and small company."
He answered confidently. "But that company still has few orders, doesn't it?" When I asked another question, the second-generation president responded.
"So what? Being a new company means it has the latest facilities."
I continued to explain, that's the point. Even with the latest facilities, human experience is something else. The second-generation president dismissed my words.
"People without significant skills can still do anything with the latest facilities, right?"
I countered, but in the end, it's down to the people who use those facilities. Their skills matter. Certainly, there are parts that anyone can handle.
"But, I think the parts from your place are."
The second-generation president was about to counter confidently, but I calmly stated, I think it's because of the lack of experience that they couldn't produce exactly the same parts as ours. When I calmly explained, the second-generation president showed a surprised expression.
Eh.
He also let out a surprised voice. The parts we supply to your company have handmade components, so even with the latest machinery, it's difficult to accurately replicate the finer details.
Huh. Is that even possible?
Yes. Our parts are finely crafted, so simply using the latest machinery to imitate them won't produce exactly the same parts. Naturally, the way the parts move won't be the same either, which is likely to cause problems when used in products. It's natural for you to mistake the parts made by that company as substandard.
That's ridiculous.
The second-generation president must have genuinely believed he could get good parts cheaply. But such an easy deal is too good to be true.
So, I can't get those parts anywhere else now. Why didn't you say something so important before?
The second-generation president pressed, clearly upset. That's why I told you, our parts cannot be made by any factory but ours. The parts we were supplying to your company require the precision of our skilled craftsmen to produce. Even with the latest machines, craftsmanship can't be developed overnight.
Then, provide that technology to others as well. Then maybe.
The second-generation president was seeking a response from me. This technology is what differentiates our company. It's not something we can just offer to others easily.
But starting new or finding someone else who can make the same things.
Didn't the representative from that company tell you beforehand that they couldn't make the parts exactly the same? As I hit the nail on the head, he turned red and groaned uncomfortably.
But that was the other company's.
Also, if you told the other company that it doesn't have to be exactly the same, that's not good either. Even a part that's close but not quite right can turn your company's product into a substandard one, compromising the safety of the customers using it. This too seemed to hit the mark, as the second-generation president trembled.
Quiet, don't tell me what to do.
No, I wasn't trying to order you around.
After all, I allowed you to make those parts and you're being arrogant.
Arrogant? No, I didn't mean to come off that way.
I'll file a complaint against your condescending attitude.
That would be troubling. Have I done something to deserve a complaint?
By arguing with me right now, you're proving my point.
By the way, it's been known since the previous president's time that our parts involve handiwork from our craftsmen. But it seems the second-generation president wasn't fully aware of the details of the parts his company was sourcing from us. Still, unwilling to admit his mistake, the second-generation president yelled over my words.
Don't you dare lecture me. You're just a low-level employee. With the latest machines, anything's possible.
It depends on what you mean by the latest machines. I responded cautiously to his words.
It's your company's fault for making such complex parts.
Our parts. I was surprised.
Yes. Make parts that are easier to produce.
I firmly opposed his demand. No, that would defeat the purpose of what we've developed. I argued for the significance of our parts. After all, without our complex parts, the second-generation president's company's products wouldn't work. Still angry, he said.
Anyway, contract with us again. I'll let bygones be bygones.
And he said something that made no sense. What do you mean by let bygones be bygones?
Because of your complex parts, we couldn't get the parts and suffered damage. Can you take responsibility for that?
His argument was completely unreasonable. Responsibility? But it seemed the second-generation president's goal was to recontract with us, as he angrily pressed on.
If you can't take responsibility, recontract with us. Right now.
I was bewildered by his demand. I'm sorry, but we've already entered into a priority contract with Company A, so we can't make a contract with your company. At my response, he became even angrier.
What? Don't mess with me. If you can't restart the contract with us, then compensate us for our losses.
He even went on to say,
Look, our company has been contracting with your small, old company for 10 years. Are you forgetting that favor? If you don't recontract, I'll go around saying your company is unreasonable.
The second-generation president applied unfair pressure. However, unfazed, I retorted, wasn't it you who called us a bottom-tier company and ended the dealings?
Since we were the ones placing orders, we have the right to stop and restart the contract whenever we want.
I was completely flabbergasted by his behavior. He continued to demand a recontract and compensation, but I responded calmly. Understood. It will be a new contract then. We have a priority contract with Company A, so there will be limitations on the number of parts we can supply. Is that all right with you?
Just hurry up and do it.
Yelling like that won't speed up the process. Also, do you really want this conversation to be rumored about?
I'm the president. No one would speak ill of me. If they heard this conversation, they'd understand I'm right, and you're the one who's wrong.
All right. I'll prepare the estimate now, so please wait a moment. Relieved that a recontract seemed possible, the second-generation president began to act arrogantly again.
The priority contract with Company A can be worked around later.
As for the priority contract, given the current situation, it's
appalling how you're treating our company, which has been dealing with you for years, so poorly. Once we recontract, stop your dealings with Company A, prioritize us and don't supply them with a single part.
That would require a separate discussion, and since we have received a request, we have responsibilities.
Such responsibilities are nothing compared to the work our company does.
That's not the case. Any task we accept is a genuine responsibility. Do you understand that?
Humph, you insolent person.
The moment the recontract was settled, the second-generation president reverted back to his smug self, starting to give me unreasonable orders again.
Well, we've been associated longer than the other company, you know that without me having to say it.
Let me explain that to you again. And so, without affirming or denying the second-generation president's question, I quietly responded. I'll bring you the product catalog and the parts estimate.
I don't need that stuff now.
As this will be a new contract for your company, we need to prepare a new estimate. Without it, unfortunately, we cannot proceed with the contract.
What a hassle. Fine, then, just hurry up and do it.
Understood. I prepared the estimate and handed it to the second-generation president. Upon seeing the estimate, his face instantly changed.
Are you joking? The amount on this estimate is wrong.
He exploded in anger. Wrong?
It wasn't this amount before. This is obviously too much.
That can't be.
Are you mocking me?
The second-generation president, furious, slammed the estimate on the table, prompting me to quickly check it. The amount is correct, though.
Don't lie. This is a rip-off.
A rip-off? No, this is the standard price.
It's much higher than before. I've been dealing with your company for years, haven't I?
Yes, you have. But this is correct.
We're discussing this because it's wrong.
For new customers.
Huh? New.
Yes. Your company is entering a new contract. You acknowledged that earlier, didn't you?
I acknowledged the contract, but I didn't say anything about that.
No, you clearly mentioned it was a new contract.
Where's the proof of that? There's nothing.
No, it's not a mistake. It's also stated in the contract documents with our company.
Such a thing.
I've mentioned it multiple times at the contract renewal, don't you remember?
But, even so, charging such a high amount to a company you've had a long relationship with.
As for the estimate amount, please refer to this catalog. I opened the catalog and showed the second-generation president the regular price of the parts we had been supplying to his company.
What's this?
This is the regular price for our parts.
Huh? This is the price for new customers, right?
Therefore, this will be the price for your company.
Why is my company considered new? We've been doing business with your company for 10 years.
Yes, we were favored by the previous generation. It brings back memories.
We were top clients, right?
Yes, you were considered top clients, so we offered you a special discounted price exclusive to your company. However, since our dealings have ended and the contract has been reset, future transactions will be based on the prices listed in this catalog.
The contract reset is a lie, right?
The second-generation president went pale after seeing the prices listed in the catalog. Are you okay? Can we continue?
Is this really going to be the price moving forward?
Yes. Transactions will proceed at the amounts listed in this catalog. The amount listed in the catalog was nearly double what the second-generation president's company had been paying in their previous dealings.
Hey, are you trying to get back at me for ending the transaction by harassing me?
This is not harassment. The prices we had been offering your company were a 40% discount off the regular price. That discount was possible because you consistently ordered our parts over a long period.
I'm going to keep ordering just like before, so give me the same discount.
I'm sorry, but I cannot do that. Given other contracts and considering your company is now a new customer, we cannot simply revert to the previous arrangement.
Damn.
The exceptionally discounted transactions we had offered the second-generation president's company were like a long-term customer appreciation discount.
In that case, you'll have to look elsewhere. However,
it will take about 4 years for Craftsman to start producing our parts from scratch, according to the person in charge.
I can't wait that long. How about a 20% discount?
I'm sorry, but that's not possible. Our company had been supplying high-quality parts to the second-generation president's company at a very cheap rate.
Come on, then offer me the 40% discount again.
That's not possible unless your company continues transactions with us for over 3 years again.
Over 3 years?
The second-generation president went even paler. Already over budget, continuing to buy these parts for 3 years would result in significant losses.
Until just recently, we could buy them at a 40% discount. Now, at the regular price, and for over 3 years, are you trying to bankrupt us?
No, it's just according to our company's rules. We can't ignore them. The ball is now in your court, President. Feeling cornered, the second-generation president shouted, trembling.
Don't mess around. You're offering Company A 40% discount. Then do the same for us.
Company A was polite enough to agree to purchase parts at the regular price.
At the regular price?
Yes. Company A's representative requested to trade at the regular price.
That's absurd.
Stunned by my response, the second-generation president fell silent. I mentioned this when the contract ended.
What are you talking about?
About the contract.
I remember you saying something.
I told you that all dealings would be reset, and then you said that being reset was just fine and you wouldn't contract with us again, didn't you?
That was.
So, we reset all dealings including previous transactions. Your company wanted that, and we were troubled by being unilaterally told that the dealings would end.
I thought that was the best course of action at the time, so I had no choice.
I see. But do you understand that you lost 10 years of trust at that moment?
That was. It was somewhat unavoidable at the management level.
Unavoidable as it may be, there should be some level of compassion and common sense.
But now, where will we get our parts from? Without them, we're in trouble.
That's why, if you insist, we can make an exception for a new contract with your company at the regular price.
What?
I'll give you an estimate to consider.
Consider. Our products were barely breaking even at the old prices. We can't afford the regular price.
I see. But every time we delivered parts, we noted that the special discount was only for continued business. In case of contract termination, regular prices would apply.
I wasn't aware of that. It's troublesome if you insist on something without proof.
I did mention that after the termination, it would be at regular prices. Upon contract termination, I informed you that all dealings would be reset, and you acknowledged it. Since the contract had already ended at that stage, we cannot accept any terms other than new customer ones.
Wait a minute. Do something about it.
As much as you ask me to do something, your company's budget and the decision on pricing are up to your discretion, as well as how you manage your dealings with other companies.
Give me some face, offer a discount. We'll be in trouble otherwise.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you. Getting parts cheaper is naturally better. That's why the second-generation president switched to cheaper parts from another company. But it was a clear mistake and a character flaw on his part not to check the actual product or to unreasonably cut ties with our company. It wasn't something I could comment on.
We'll be running at a loss. It's a main component of our flagship product. Without it, we can't produce our goods.
The second-generation president slumped down, pale, but none of the employees, including me, felt sympathy for him. After resetting the past 10 years, the second-generation president could no longer use our parts. As a result, he used cheaper parts from another company, but the quality of his flagship product dropped, leading to poor sales. Inside his company, the once domineering second-generation president was held responsible by his employees and had to step down.